Good morning, friends, and welcome to my today's lecture, that is, a brief summary of Kamala's autobiography, My Story. Kamala's My Story is a feminist classic. Her quest for love and fulfillment is relatable even today. My Story, written by Kamala Das, aka Madhvi Kutti, is an autobiography of the great author and was originally published in 1973. Critics had mixed reviews regarding this book, which was considered much ahead of its times. Most of them were even shocked by the outspokenness and honesty of the author in sharing her private life with the readers. Now, the book begins when Kamala Das was a 6-year-old girl and lived in Calcutta with her elder brother and parents. Her mother was a well-known writer and her father worked in a company that sold Rolls-Royce and Bentley to the rich and the famous. She was sent to a high-class British school where she studied with the other white children who always teased her of her swarthy brown skin. She has vivid memories of her classmates, teachers, and she narrates a few incidents from her school days that made her happy, sad, and proud. She claims that both her brother and she were neglected as her mother was always buried in the books and writings and did not have time for the kids. So her need and greed for love probably started right from her childhood days. Now, Kamala spent her vacations in her ancestral house in Nalapat, which belonged to her mother. Her lovely maternal grandmother welcomed her and filled her with the much needed love and attention that a 6-year-old girl like her wishes to have. She shared a special bond with her grandmother all throughout her life. She even portrayed the other family members who lived in the ancestral house, like the great grandfather, granduncle, aunts, etc., and made the readers, like us, acquainted with the amusing childhood and the interesting relationship that surrounded her. Now, when we reach towards the middle of the book, we see that a young 15-year-old Kamala gets married to a much older man whom her parents had chosen for her. She was not interested in getting married to this man and was terribly upset by the sudden turn that the events took and grabbed her completely off guard. She takes her through those whimsical days and nights which she had to spend with her husband as a price to be paid for having got married to him. She and her husband did not share a mental bond, and she always treated him like an outsider. Since she was unhappy in her marriage, she would always live in her imaginary world with her make-believe lovers. These lovers gave her mental and emotional support which she never received from her husband. These lovers have not been described clearly for us readers, and so setting apart the reality from her fantasy becomes almost a challenging task for us. Now we are left confused while they play hide and seek with her desperation, hallucinations, and the actual facts. Now, although the basic flavor of this book is sorrow and loneliness, but Kamala does imbibe satire and humor to the practices of the society and a few characters too that we come across in this book. The way she and her servants run amok for painkillers due to the whining and complaints of her mother-in-law had us in slits. After the initial few years of her marriage, she's found more at peace with herself and her relation with her husband, almost accepting the fact that things won't get better than this. She talks of all of her 3 sons with much love and care, playing with them, taking care of them. She shared a warm, open relation with her children. We can feel strongly the agony and anguish that she was in when her kids fall sick. At the age of 40, Kamala is stricken by a grave disease and she has to undergo a major heart surgery. The way she deals, what we see is the way she deals with death appears to be equally magical as she dealt with life. She considers death a stranger who's welcome and promises to return to her child as a ghost in case she didn't make it through surgery. She never expresses her fear or terror of death. She had an unusual way of dealing with something which otherwise could have gotten rather sentimental. So this is all about the brief summary of my story. I'll be coming up with more lectures of mine. Till then, goodbye and good day.